forward. Okay, so this is our presentation. Human-wildlife overlap is expected to increase across more than half of land on Earth by 2070, and it's by Megan Zhang.
And Tatyana Camacho.
Okay, so first, it's important to note what human population growth is, and that is the increase in the number of humans on Earth. And we also have to take into account that human population growth is exponential. Okay. And this is a human-driven issue. The increase of the human-wildlife overlap is a result of expansion in population rather than a result of climate change. Um, just some facts. There are trends in the growth, which means we currently have 8.2 billion people on Earth, and there are 385,000 babies being born every day and only 100K deaths every day. So on average, we have like 285,000 more people coming into the world every day than leaving, which means population growth is skyrocketing.
Hmm.
Okay.
What areas are projected to have this high overlap? Throughout the research, we found that areas with high population density and high biodiversity will have this overlap. The next slide is taken from the textbook, and this is population density. As you can see, the areas with the darker blue shaded regions are with high population density. Areas like India and China as well are the highest ones. This one is taken from the article, and as you can see, they both overlap with the areas with the high population density have the areas with the highest overlap. What does human wildlife overlap influence? The first one would be food provisioning. It's the ways in which certain species provide food resources, and it's also the way food is provided to wildlife. The next one is pollination services. Pollinators face threats from habitat losses, and they need those habitats to create pollen, and they will decrease once this overlap increases. The next one is disease transmission. It'll increase the interaction with species like COVID-19, for example. Once this overlap increases, we can see an increase in disease transmission. And then the last one is cultural inspiration. It will shape the attitudes, practices, and interactions with wildlife.
Okay. And this brings to mind that we have a need for biodiversity. Um, Even though that we're worried about stuff like diseases like COVID-19 happening again because of this increase, we need to note the species provide benefits to human. Um, we have a lot of birds that get rid of like crop pests, and with this increase of human population, we'll see a decline in those birds, which means there'll be a lot of like little gnats and stuff around more. And then we also have hyenas, which are seen on this slide, and they clean waste from urban areas, and they can reduce things like rabies and anthrax through the cleaning of this waste. So it's very important that we seek the biodiversity instead of just letting the humans take over, because these animals do provide for us. And then what we are our end goal is equitable conservation, which the main goal is to set up protective areas with human restriction, but that's very unlikely just because of the way that the population is expanding. So, a couple ways we can try to do equitable conservation is engage with local communities to make conservation a point, really gather the people together, talk about what we can do to make sure that the wildlife have their space, but humans are also okay populated. And then a try could be establish habitat zones where the animals have their space so that, their whole ecosystem isn't getting messed up. Thank you for listening.
The end.
And these are our resources. Okay, stop recording.